Have you ever wondered why the return of wolves to Yellowstone National Park is considered one of the most successful wildlife comebacks in American history? It's a question that opens up an intriguing narrative of survival, resilience, and ecological balance. To fully appreciate this story, we need to journey back in time, to the early days of Yellowstone when wolves freely roamed the park's vast wilderness. But this tale isn't all sunshine and roses. It's marked by a dark period when these majestic creatures were hunted to near extinction. Yet, through the power of conservation and the resilience of nature, the wolves made a triumphant return, forever changing the story of Yellowstone. So let's embark on this journey together, delving into the history of Yellowstone's wolves, their eradication, and their triumphant return. It's a tale that will change the way you look at wildlife conservation and the intricate balance of our ecosystem. Stay tuned as we unravel the fascinating history of Yellowstone's wolves. Before we delve into their return, it's essential to understand the wolves' original place in Yellowstone. In the vast expanse of Yellowstone, a tale as old as time itself unfolds, a tale of the original inhabitants, the wolves. Since prehistoric times, these majestic creatures have roamed the wild, untamed landscapes of Yellowstone, their haunting howls echoing through the valleys, their footprints etched in the snow. These were the lands they called home, the lands they ruled. The wolves were not just inhabitants, they were integral parts of the Yellowstone ecosystem. They were the puppet masters, the conductors of a grand orchestra that included the grizzly bears, the elk, the bison, and countless other species. Each creature played its part, and the wolves at the top of the food chain ensured a delicate balance was maintained. Their predatory nature kept the population of herbivores in check, preventing overgrazing and promoting the growth of vegetation, which in turn supported a diverse array of wildlife. And in this intricate web of life and death, the wolves coexisted with the Native American tribes, who revered them as sacred beings, symbols of courage, strength, and loyalty. To the tribes, the wolves were more than just animals. They were spiritual guides, their howls a divine song that resonated with their beliefs and traditions. But this harmonious existence was not to last forever. As the pages of history turned, the wolves found themselves standing at the precipice of a great change. The arrival of settlers from the east brought with it a new era, a new way of life, and a new threat to the wolves' existence. But as settlers moved in, the wolves' reign in Yellowstone was on borrowed time. With the arrival of European settlers, the wolves' fate took a tragic turn. As the dawn of the 20th century approached, fear and misunderstanding caused an extermination campaign against these misunderstood creatures. The settlers, driven by misconceptions of the wolves as threats to livestock and people, began a ruthless hunt. This hunt was not limited to just the rogue wolves, but rather, it was a wide-scale eradication of the species from the region. The campaign was so relentless and systematic that it led to the disappearance of the Yellowstone wolves from their native habitat. These majestic animals, once the rulers of the wilderness, were pushed to the brink of extinction. Their howls that once echoed through the valleys and over the mountains of Yellowstone were silenced. The once thriving population was decimated, and the ecosystem they had been a part of was left in disarray. By the 1920s, the wolves of Yellowstone were no more. However, the 20th century brought a shift in our understanding of wolves and their role in the ecosystem. As we began to better comprehend the intricate web of nature, the perception of wolves started to change. No longer were they the menacing predators of our nightmares, but vital components of a balanced wilderness. The realization dawned that without the wolves, Yellowstone was losing its ecological equilibrium. The ungulate population was skyrocketing, leading to overgrazing and degradation of vegetation. The absence of these apex predators was having reverberating effects throughout the food chain, impacting creatures big and small. Recognizing the vital role of wolves in maintaining biodiversity, the winds of change began to blow. The public started advocating for the protection of these misunderstood creatures, and in 1973, the US government responded. The Endangered Species Act was signed into law, providing a lifeline for the wolves, among other threatened species. The act was instrumental in changing the narrative for wolves. It led to the decision to reintroduce them to Yellowstone in the mid-90s, an operation that was met with both anticipation and trepidation. The task was monumental, fraught with challenges, but the resolve was stronger. After decades of absence, the wolves were finally coming home. This marked the beginning of one of the most remarkable wildlife comebacks. In the mid-1990s, the wolves made their triumphant return to Yellowstone. A landmark decision spurred by the Endangered Species Act set the stage for one of the most successful wildlife reintroductions in history. But it wasn't an easy journey. The wolves faced numerous challenges, from adapting to a new environment to overcoming the fear and skepticism of local communities. However, these resilient creatures proved their mettle, quickly adapting to their ancestral home. They formed packs, claimed territories, and began playing their part in the grand scheme of Yellowstone's ecosystem. Their presence once again filled the park with the hauntingly beautiful symphony of howls, a sound that had been missing for decades. Their return had an incredible impact on the ecosystem. The overpopulated elk herds were kept in check, allowing the vegetation to flourish. This in turn attracted a diversity of species from birds to beavers. The rivers changed their course, the forests grew denser, and the grasslands thrived. Yellowstone was transformed, all thanks to the return of its apex predator. The wolves' comeback wasn't just about re-establishing a species, it was a testament to the power of conservation, a demonstration of how humans can rectify past mistakes and restore balance to nature. And so, while their numbers may never reach their former glory, the return of wolves to Yellowstone is a testament to the resilience of nature and the power of conservation. There's hope in their howls, a song of survival echoing through the wilderness, reminding us of the remarkable resilience of the natural world.